And to discuss this important qualification, I am delighted to be joined by national team goalkeeper Gurpreet Singh from Mohali. Gurpreet, thank you for taking time out during what has been a well-earned break. This is something to celebrate, isn't it? Because India go into the Asian Cup as group winners.
Oh, definitely. I think we all should be very happy and very grateful of all that has happened in the past 10 days. I think it was very, very important, a very, very important period for Indian football. And I think all of the hard work that we had put in showed, and extremely happy to qualify for the Asian Cup again. Back-to-back qualification is something which motivates us, and that's what we need as Indian football fans.
Now, Gurpreet, these qualification groups, they can be tricky because it's the end of the season. Now, could you perhaps share with us some of Coach Igor Stimach's game plan for these qualifiers?
It was important to gain the fitness of all the players who had a break after March, after the friendly games that we had played also with the national team. We had about 4 weeks where we were not playing any football. So to come back and regain that fitness again and to be match ready was the first point. And the second point was to be able to go into the games with the mindset of playing football and also keeping clean sheets and not conceding goals. Scoring more goals was one of the things on my agenda, and winning games in front of our home fans was also something that we really wanted to do. So we went in with that intent, and I was very proud after the third game finished that we were able to achieve it.
Yes, but Gurpreet, we are celebrating the fact that the Indian team has reached back-to-back Asian Cups. But what needs to be done so that qualification for continental tournaments like the Asian Cup becomes a run-of-the-mill affair in Indian football?
I think the answer is in the question. The season has to be longer. There has to be more number of games, not too many games. Like the other day, I was talking in the dining room with some of the players when we were there, that I read an article about how the players in Europe are complaining about having too many games and only having 3 weeks of holiday, whereas we are on the other side where we are, asking for more games and having a longer break. So that's something that tells you about the polar differences of how football is right now. Of course, with COVID, it's not easy, and it is something that we should highly prioritize, because if you want to reach the Asian Cup, where teams are playing and their players are playing 35 games per season on average, you have to be able to match that as well. And to be able to match that, you have to play 35 games per season as well. You can't expect sometimes players playing 20 games a season in the ISL if you're not injured or no suspensions, to be able to perform again on a very high level internationally and be able to achieve results. So I think that's where we have to start and start fixing this problem, because if we want to keep on being at this stage where we are representing our nation on the highest level, we need to start it properly again.
Gurpreet, we were just seeing a photo of the team celebrating with the tricolour. Football is a team sport, but I'm just going to turn to an individual effort, and I know you won't mind. Let's talk about Sunil Chhetri. He scored 4 goals for India in those qualifiers. He's now third on the list of active international goal scorers with 84 goals. The people ahead of him, Messi and Ronaldo. Sunil remains a role model, not just for the team, but also for Indian football. Big icon.
Yeah. I think his importance in the team is paramount. He is definitely one of our main guys. He is, like everyone says, once in a generation kind of players, and we are very lucky to be able to witness him. I'm very lucky to play with him and spend time with him. So I think as long as he is playing, we all should support him, give him all the love that we can, and just be in awe, because the guy is doing something special for Indian football with all that he has had. And yeah, I mean, that's Sunil Chhetri for you, the GOAT.
You were part of the squad in 2019 that traveled to the UAE to play the Asian Cup. How do you think the team has evolved? What has changed since then, Gurpreet?
Sunil Chhetri has become even older. I have become a part of the 30s club. And I think we have the most important thing is our lives changed after experiencing COVID and playing football in a bio bubble twice. That's something that was a very new experience. So we know the importance of having fans in the stadiums, and that is something you cannot trade in for anything. So I really hope that all of the time that we play from now on is in front of home fans, in front of any kind of fans, because that is what football is about, and I hope it keeps on going like that.
Okay, we spoke about Sunil, we've spoken about the fact that the team needs more and more matches going into these top tournaments. But do you back your coach Igor Stimacz's claims that India are almost a decade behind the top 8 Asian countries? He also said that the ILeague, which is now the unofficial second division, must stop playing foreigners. Do you agree with that?
See, I think he must have made that statement for some reason, and it's him only who can give the reasoning about it. There's nothing that I can say which will make his statements feel like they are valid. Of course, he knows more football than any of us. He has played at that level. He has coached at that level. Of course, what he's saying is in with the mind of developing Indian football, and I think we all should sit and listen to what he has to say and what ideas he's giving, because I think that's the only way we can develop, to be able to sit here and listen what others have to say about the structure that we have, because an outside opinion, someone else's opinion is very, very important, because they can see things which we might not be able to see about our own league, our own infrastructure, our own atmosphere that we have. So I think it's something which our coach can only tell us about why that is important. And it is something that we should be all ears about.
Gurpreet, even when you all were playing, there was the intercontinental playoffs going on in Qatar. There's a World Cup in Qatar at the end of this year. Teams like New Zealand almost made it through. They went down to Costa Rica. The World Cup's expanding to 48 teams from 2026. Do you realistically, do you expect India to qualify for a World Cup this decade? 2 more World Cup coming up after this.
So to be at that World Cup, we need to be in the top 10 of Asia. And that is something which should be our priority right now. Of course, everyone likes the World Cup dream and wants to be at the World Cup. That's very nice, and that's very patriotic, and that's very important for all of us as well. But I'm very realistic, and I tell very frankly that it's one step at a time. Before, we hadn't qualified for the Asian Cup twice, back to back. That happened now. So it's important to take one step at a time. You need to take one thing at a time. If we enter the top 10 of Asia, then we should think about, okay, then we should enter the top 6 of Asia. Because you can't leave it on chance. We can't leave it on oh, let there be a 48-team World Cup, or let's, for example, host the World Cup and stuff like that. So it's important that we earn our right, and for that we need to start with our own. What do I have to do as a person to help the nation qualify for the World Cup? And that starts from me, that starts from everyone who's working in our federation, to all the state federations, to all the clubs, to all the academies that are there in India, because it comes from within. If one person is doing their job correctly, that'll go on to others, and once we are all doing our job correctly, there are high chances of us excelling and being successful on going to the World Cup, you know.
Yes, we wait for that day, Gurpreet, and hopefully it comes as soon as possible. But as you said, let's not get carried away and let's take the baby steps first. A FIFA president once called India the sleeping giant of world football. The state of slumber seems to be over. Thank you for your time and enjoy your holidays.